Greetings, Generals, and welcome back to my Ultimate General Civil War CSA campaign, which is being fought on Major General Light difficulty using the JMP Rebalance mod version 1.29.1. The Peninsula campaign and the double major battles of Gaines Mill and Malvern Hill are now behind me, and it is time to move on into the second Manassas campaign with the first battle coming up, the Battle of Cedar Mountain. Malvern Hill was a slog. It's a well-defended position. I launched a big flank attack with an entire corps. I brought another corps in at the front. King's Corps was the flanking force. Johnson's Corps was the frontal attack. Both of them took pretty good casualties. I did get the full clear, so I inflicted a lot more casualties than I suffered. However, you can see my infantry casualties were very high, almost 45%. And then something that doesn't normally happen for me, I lost 30 guns. What happened there was I was shifting the frontal attack corps forward, and I set all of the light guns to move forward to support the infantry, and then I shifted back my focus to the flank attack, and I did not recognize that the Union forces there kind of launched a big attack toward the front and drove back my infantry and ended up in the midst of my guns. And so I lost a lot of guns, a lot more guns than I normally lose. And I can't afford to lose guns because I'm not very high in logistics right now, so I'm a little short on guns to start with. Now, you can see here where my career points are. I did put 1 point in politics, 1 in Army organization. I will have to put the points from Cedar Mountain and Manassas Depot into Army Org because I have to be at Army Org 9 for second Bull Run to generate those 5th divisions in the corps. So that's where they'll be going. The Army has been rebuilt. And you can see if you've watched the videos, I've changed some of the names, and here's why. I do this from time to time, but this time I love using those connections to the states, you know, like Virginia and Tennessee. The problem is then when you fight a big battle and you have a lot of casualties and you have to start merging units, you run into the problem of, well, I'm merging the 3rd Virginia with the 2nd Tennessee. What am I going to call this now? And so basically, I decided that in the best interest of my mental health and not giving myself a headache, I decided that I was going to scrap the state designations. And so I did keep the unit designations though. So Rhodes is infantry. Infantry still indicates a double perk, a split perk, a melee perk, and a rifle perk. Kershaw's rifles is double perked accuracy. Ransom's line is double perked melee. Artillery still means Napoleon's. Light artillery means 6-pounders. Light howitzers would be 12-pound howitzers. You have rifles here, 3-inch ordnance rifles, so Perry's rifles, Lomax's rifles. We have mounted infantry and scouts. And scouts is because I gave this melee brigade. I can tell it's a melee brigade based on its unit indicator, but I wanted to make sure it's called scouts because I had gave them a scouting perk. But at the moment, they don't even have the scouting perk simply because Jeb Stewart got wounded. I've put Tom Preston in there, but you can see they're setting at 96 to experience to get back their 2nd star. I also brought over this merged skirmisher unit, and I had to put a general in there, but I had Sam Cabell, who had been promoted to general commanding his artillery battalion. I put him down here, and that gave them the 1st star. I chose the picket perk, so it's Cabell's pickets. And so we can see we have Rhodes as infantry with Harper's Ferries. Actually, I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to go vertical. I don't normally do this, but because of the way I have them set up, the 1st Brigade of each division is going to be my double perked. Of course, 2 of them aren't there yet. That'd be Wilcox and Hood. They're not there. But so these double perked units are going to have to carry a good shooting weapon, but that's also high melee. So I have Rhodes with Harper's Ferries. I have Wilcox with Harper's Ferries. Hood has infield, so all of those are high melee. My middle brigade, 2nd Brigade are going to be shooters. And so I have 61 Springfield with Kershaw's rifles. Pickett's rifles have 61 Springfield, and Hawkins rifles are carrying 61 Springfields. And then my line brigades have to have melee weapons as well. And Ransom's line, and you can see that Ransom's line is a little bit smaller, and it's small because I simply can't add another single person to it. So you have Ransom's line, Kemper's line, and Preston's line all carrying infields. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna say, how can I add another without drastically reducing them? I can. All right, so I gave them another 100 or so guys, and they are at 51 points out of 100 to their second star. Okay, Second Corps is in the process of being real. Second Corps took a beating on that frontal assault, and but the very first time I fought the battle, the mass casualties were in First Corps. First Corps came out of that battle the first time I fought it with less than 7,000 men total. I had one brigade come out with just, matter of fact, I'll show you, it was Rhodes' infantry brigade came out of that battle with Rhodes killed or wounded and only 256 men left. It was a bad, and so when I refought it, the overall results were better, but a lot more casualties were in Second Corps because I brought them up quicker to take some of the pressure off of the First Corps. And so you can see where we're at here. Rowley's division, we have Miller's rifles, Law's rifles, Force's line, Richard's light howitzers, and the only incorrectly perked unit in the Army right now is Milroy. That's not petted anymore, that's Milroy's, so let me go ahead and rename that while I'm looking at it. That's Milroy's light artillery, but it has a shot shell perk, and you're thinking, why? Because that's the next rifle battalion. As soon as I get some money here after Cedar Mountain, we're going to go in here and we're going to, well, I don't even have to buy rifles, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these Blakeleys and these Jameses, and I've got 4 points. I'll get 4 and 4 for the next 2 battles, which will give me 12. I'm going to take Blakeleys and Jameses, put them in First Corps. That'll free up more rifles to move down to Second Corps. Braxton's light artillery is probably also going to become a rifle brigade, but they don't have a perk, and I wasn't worried about perking them wrong at the moment, simply because they're not going into this battle anyway. The last corps here, and I need to build a cavalry division here for Second Corps, and then I do have Longstreet sitting right here in Hill's Corps, and Longstreet will be the additional division going into First Corps, and then Rowley here, this will be the additional infantry division going into Second Corps. So basically, I have the 5th division for First Corps built. I have to build a cav skirmisher division for Second Corps, and I have to build an infantry division for Second Corps, and then anything above and beyond that will just be a bonus, because I got to get into Second Bull Run with at least 2 corps of 25 brigades, and then if I can, even if I just had to build Hill over here a bunch of skirmisher units, then that's what I'll do to kind of get them into the fight. Alright, with that being said, it is time to jump into the Battle of Cedar Mountain. So we're going to jump in. We've held them to 5% over. It's still white, so that's not bad. I'm hoping that I can knock that down some. If I can get a couple of good clears here on these next 2 battles, we can knock that down. I get to take almost my full corps in. Notice that they have 18,136. I have 16,639, but I can't take in my full corps, although I'm going to be leaving out a lot of artillery, so I will be pretty close to that, because I'm not taking all of my artillery into this battle. The Yankees have been alerted by our presence and have sent a force to halt our advance. Oops, I skipped it, I'm sorry. Well, we're going to move on anyway. Basically, what it's going to tell us to do is that we have to attack and drive them off of Cedar Mountain right here, which is what I'm about to do. Where is my 1st Division rifles? That's 1st Division rifles. And now I want 2nd Division's artillery. Alright, that's all the artillery I'm taking. So I'm taking all of my infantry, I'm bringing my melee brigade in. I'm leaving Vinton at home, and the reason I'm leaving Vinton at home is because he's small, and I know he has 2 stars, but oops, I said I was leaving him at home, and then I stuck him back in there. Alright, so I get one more. Now, what is Reed armed with? Cooking Brothers. What is Pender armed with? Sharps. Alright, we're going to send the Sharps Brigade this way. I'll explain the method for my madness here in a minute. Okay, now I need all of my 2nd Division, Claus's division, to come over here. Oh, that's 3rd Division, so Hood stay up here, 3rd Division. Kemper is 2nd Division. Alright. And Hood is going to be attached to 1st Division. At least he's going to move with 1st Division. Alright. It'll all make sense here in a minute. I just got to get it set up. So let's start the battle. That'll shut this music off. And then I'll tell you what I am going to do. So I like to fight Cedar Mountain with a double envelopment. I'm going to take as much as I can, almost my whole force, over to the left and come up and go through these woods just north of them, and then begin moving left to right across the screen toward the flag. And the Union, typically, the AI will shift that direction to counter that threat. And then what I'm going to do is I have this entire division with this 1 cavalry brigade. We're going to come across here. It's going to be a pretty long little march here, but eventually we're going to come out of these woods here to the right, to the back of the flag. The back of the flag will be hopefully lightly defended unless they see me coming, and then we'll pressure them from both sides. And then the AI doesn't it doesn't really react well when you do that to it. It balks. I'm trying, if you're wondering what I'm doing here, I'm trying to figure out how to get these guys crossing as tight as possible. Okay, I will, okay, yeah, that'll get them moving. And get my cavalry straight across here. Okay, with that being said, we can move back up here. 1st Division minus my artillery. I said, who did I say? Hood's Brigade. Yeah. Alright, Hood and 1st Division Infantry Brigades are going to come up right here. Here we go. Right like this. And then 1st Division Skirmishers and Hood Skirmishers are going to get up in these woods. Now, my Napoleon artillery, I'm going to put right here at the farmhouse. And then my rifle guns, I'm going to just kind of bring in right behind them until I figure out exactly where the Union is going to focus. Get the supplies up here. I'll tell you what I'll do. Artillery brigade there. Spread them out just a little bit. And get the rifle guns kind of more up in between. Rifles have better range. They can be a little further back. That's not a problem. Royce King can go to his farmhouse. Now, I like to send more my melee calves usually the other direction, but I started this a minute ago. I usually do a playthrough just to kind of verify everything's going to be working, that I've got who I want, and encountered an extremely large 1,000 man, 1-starred Union melee cav brigade up there at the top of the map, and it really messed up my whole plan. So, with that being said, and I'm going to go to this view here so I can kind of keep an eye on my guys that are running both flanks at the same time. I'm going to have to zoom back in here and get ready. They got, you can see they have a lot of infantry moving in there. Who's shooting? Oh, they are. I'm going to pause for 1 second. I'm going to slide back in here and see if this cavalry has made it up. It has. We're going to go way up here and stay behind the lines. Okay. There is that cavalry brigade I was telling you about. I didn't want to charge that quick. Now I want to charge it. Alright, it's going to run way back down there. Infantry ought to be in place. I probably forgot about my infantry. No, they're just now getting in place. All right, so let's go. Let's get up here. Okay, I haven't said a whole lot here because I've been trying to focus on trying to round them up, but as you can see, I have them completely surrounded now. And a lot of them are routing, several of them are still steady. Just gonna let my shooter shoot. Like to get to that supply wagon before these last two units quit, but I may not. Fender, can you get there before Gordon surrenders? Get it. Whoa, barely got it. Just barely got it. So that's the Battle of Cedar Mountain. Lost 2,023 infantry. Let's see how we are on officers. Ooh, Tom Preston and John Bell Hood wounded. I did not need that. Cadmus Wilcox promoted. Joseph Kershaw promoted. Andy Haas promoted. Don't know who he is. Goods captured some 61 Springfields. Captured a few Lorenzes. Alright, I don't think any of our units are in too bad a shape. We're going to jump back to the camp. I can always see better in the camp. We picked up some additional recruits for all the prisoners. Picked up 5 extra reputation points. So, yes, not in too bad a shape. Not in too bad a shape here. Preston's scouts. Preston got wounded. I will have to see who I'm going to put in there to command that. Probably Cabell, if I can put somebody in here to hold this star on this skirmish unit. And then career point wise, as I said, it's got to go to Army Organization. So it's in Army Organization now. And that is the Battle of Cedar Mountain. Thank you for watching. Tune in next time for the Battle of Manassas Depot. And I got a full clear and they went up a point. They got 22,900 recruits. So we'll do the Battle of Manassas Depot will be the next one. So thank you for watching. Tune in next time for Manassas Depot.